As you know, Marty said that a lot of the films he made today are theme park rides.
Marty, what did you do?
Your Iron Man portrayal has become the thing. It is a huge moneymaker.
Yeah.
You still enjoy doing it, yes?
It is this very large, multi-headed Hydra at this point. According to Scorsese, it's not cinema. I got to take a look at that.
But it is cinema, isn't it?
I mean, it plays in theaters.
I mean, that's like saying, Bugs Bunny ain't funny. Films are film.
I think in his view, we're denigrated the art form of cinema.
Going to the movies used to be an experience. People will go see movies just because they said it's going to be number one.
The value, how do you say, the value of a film that's like a theme park film, for example, the Marvel type pictures, it's not cinema, it's something else. And we need the theater owners to step up for that, to allow theaters to show films that are narrative films.
He got a lot of heat for it, but I understand fully what you were saying.
They always felt cut from the same cloth in that they were very big and event and CGI spectacles to some extent. I was thinking at the time, what would it be like to really strip it all down and do a really intimate character study where you explore one of these characters in an intense way.
The Joker was inspired by your cinema.
I know.
By your movies.
But
do you also consider it as a theme park movie?
I don't know about that. I know the film very well, and I know Todd very well. My producer, Emma Tillinger-Koskop, produced it.
Yeah.
So, it's an interesting question.
No one's laughing. We're not laughing at the clowns. I don't want to be down on the clowns. We are colleagues in a certain sense.
Comedians and clowns.
Comedians and clowns. But we all know somewhere underneath all of that bright color, there's a man who's not right. At some point, he's got to wash his face, take in his pants, and start dealing with life like the rest of us.
Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to the very talented Joaquin Phoenix. Thank you very much for being on the program again. You know, it's been 3 years since the last time you were on the show, and I will just say right off the top here, you look different than I remember you.
This is exactly how I imagined it.
Well, that makes one of us.
You've got a nice beard going, and
oh yeah, thank you.
How is that, the beard?
In what way?
I watched that whole interview, and I said to myself, Joaquin Phoenix is a fucking genius. That was like the greatest press appearance I've ever seen in my life.
You were terrific in the film. I really enjoyed your work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is how brilliant it is. Basically, what he's doing is resisting every protocol of what it's like to be on a late-night talk show.
It's you and a piece of cardboard in your room.
I'm making fun of it, but it was pretty serious for me.
He didn't do any of the banter. He didn't do any of that, hey, good to be here, Dave. I got a new movie coming out.
Yeah. Can we move on?
Yes, we can.
Well, something else to talk about?
He's a completely different kind of celebrity than I am. By design of what he does. He's a fine actor.
You have a tendency to make things up.
What do you mean?
You lie on talk shows every time I've ever seen you.
The only time you see Joaquin Phoenix, he's in a movie pretending to be somebody completely different. And he's very good at it, so you can't tell what he's actually like.
Bad news for Marvel fans looking to see Joaquin Phoenix in the role of Doctor Strange, as word is the actor has dropped out of talks with the comic book giant.
The 43-year-old actor was reportedly the first choice to replace Ed Horton as the Hulk, but passed on the opportunity.
You've said in the past that you would do a comic book movie if the right role came up. Why was this the right role for you?
I think it was complex in a way that the other movies that I kind of flirted with weren't.
Probably why I ultimately said yes to the movie is because I wasn't sure of what I felt about him. I like that space. I'm comfortable there. I don't need all the answers.
It just seemed to me, no matter what the character is, that you're going along the journey with that character. You may like the character, you may not, but it's just that you're interested in the character.
This movie and what Todd Phillips is doing in it as a director and how it's being written is so Scorsese at times. It has so much Taxi Driver.
I got some bad ideas in my head.
All I have are negative thoughts.
and so much king of comedy in it.
This is how I see you introducing me. You could say something like this.
One small thing.
Yeah.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
At that time, there were so many films and so many wonderful actors portraying these characters where we didn't really fully understand what their motivation was. And we were okay with that.
It was always to give off this kind of unsettling vibe of this guy who pretty much separated from everybody else, even in this locker room space, alone, kind of not part of the group.
I always tried to shoot Bob in a single frame on his shot. However, when you take other people, we try to shoot past him and include him in their frames. We try to keep him separate from everybody else.
Larry and I really chose to shoot a ton of this really long lens, so you have that real shallow depth of field that you see in some of those old school movies.
I did that with a 600mm lens, longest lens. What I tried to do was really isolate him. I tried to isolate him from other people. Everybody around him completely soft focused, and he's kind of floating through the city.
When you make a movie about one person, every other element becomes a character. The music is suddenly a character, and the locations are suddenly a character.
I wanted to shoot this scene against Columbus Circle so we'd see the life, we'd see the city. The city is like really a character in this movie too, you know?
We wanted this movie to feel like it could have come out in the summer of 1979.
I'm doing the commentary here now, I see this and it's a pretty close sense of New York in the late 70s, you know?
You know, that scene where he's dancing in the bathroom is scripted as an entirely different scene.
The script, I believe, had us saying that he was preparing in front of the mirror. And I was saying to him, I really think we need for you to speak in the mirror. Speak to yourself in the mirror.
He goes into this little rundown bathroom in a rundown park, and he's going to wash his makeup off and hide the gun under a thing. And when me and Joaquin were on the set, and we're just like, this doesn't really feel like the Arthur we've been filming now for 4 or 5 weeks. It's just not him.
It was the last week of shooting. We were over schedule 5 days. It was very difficult, and we said, okay, we're just going to shoot this scene, and locked the door so our assistant director wouldn't get in.
So we sat around for 45 minutes while, you know, the crew's outside, just thinking about other possibilities.
The AD was banging on the door, come on, we got to get out of here. And I said, no, this is good, just wait, give me another minute.
I called in the operator, didn't even tell the operator what we're doing. I just said start on his foot.
Yeah. And I was sort of at his feet in front of the mirror, right in front of him. And he started improvising it, and it kept saying, are you talking to me?
I just started playing the score from off of my iPhone, and he started doing this dance, and that was it.
But he just kept, he went on a roll. You talking to me? You talking to me?
Martin, you took your go ahead and produce this film. Your partner, Emma, is the producer on it. Why did you decide not to produce?
Personal reasons, I think, for me, also scheduling. And quite honestly, Taxi Driver and King of Comedy and Last Temptation of Christ. Those were my fights.
You've got to start at the bottom. I know, that's where I am, at the bottom.
The King of Comedy is a very weird film, but it has a lot in common with Taxi Driver. Both are stories about outsiders who want to be insiders.
Hi, Eliza. Good seeing you. Gerald, good seeing you. Jerry, don't get up.
Hey, Murray. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's been a lifelong dream of mine.
Right? Yeah.
Joker has this certain kind of arrogance and this need to be kind of revered and adored. He sees himself as a king in some ways.
You're looking at the new king of comedy.
This is not a pleasant guy, and the question is, I think for a filmmaker is, you know, they always say you have to like your characters. I don't think Scorsese likes this Rupert Pupkin.
They don't give a shit about people like you, Arthur. And they really don't give a shit about people like me either.
I had such mixed feelings about the character as I went through the script. And everybody that including my family, have a different reaction to the character and to the movie and what it means and whether they should sympathize or not.
I think it's that I look at my whole life and I see the awful, terrible things in my life and turn it into something funny.
I used to think that my life was a tragedy, but now I realize it's a fucking comedy.
And that's what I like about the movie, right? It's not didactic. It's not telling you precisely what you should feel or when. And I think that's rare in movies.
said these are not cinema. Greta, what is cinema to
Oh,
you?
Jesus.
Quiet, Greta, come on.
I mean, really, I have
Just
to
sit there
look at this
quietly.
table. Why me? God, I don't know. I mean, I know it when I see it. I say that. I mean, I know it when I see it. I know. You know when there's an author there, and you know when it's personal, and you know you can feel it. You can feel it come through
that's what has to be
every
projected.
moment, every shot, and the actors and every piece of it, and it just doesn't miss you. And I don't know that I can explain it better than that.
Joaquin and I spent 6 months talking about the movie before we shot the first frame of the movie. So all we did was collaborate and talk about ways to do scenes, approaches to the character, tone, talk about telling him how the movie's gonna look.
Now, when you guys sit down and when you first receive a script for one of these things, do they consult with you? Do they discuss this with you?
I think the legal phrase for actors and studios is meaningful consultation, not script approval.
I'd review dailies and I'd go through the script. So I would just still have questions. And so I would call him for 2 hours. We would talk like almost every night.
Getting a pretty brutal education on what kind of process these movies require, you just start trusting more that they're thinking on your behalf.
It was exciting to me to see, no matter how detailed and how well we wrote a script, for him to come in and make it his own. That is literally what people mean, I think, when they say the magic of movies. That's the magic part.
Occasionally in art, you get lucky, and you're at the right place at the right time with the right people. And I think that was the case with Taxi Driver.
This is something that Schrader and Scorsese are learning from the French New Wave, from people like Jean-Luc Godard and Francois Truffaut and other filmmakers that were very, very powerful influences at the time.
It was greatly inspired by the works of Martin Scorsese and Sidney Lumet and other filmmakers that I sort of grew up worshiping in the 70s and early 80s.
Every film that you make is a celebration of filmmaking. And part of that celebration is to allude to them, to give a nod